Greek mythology and modern superheroes, what do they have in common?
Topic preview. Audio and captions begin shortly. Ever wondered if our favorite caped crusaders are actually ancient gods hiding in plain sight? From the Justice League's Olympian, parallels to Shazam's divine ancestry, the DNA of Greek myth is everywhere in our modern. We've traded ancient magic for science, turning the craftsman Daedalus into Iron Man, while keeping that classic Achilles heel to keep our heroes human.
Welcome to the debate. If you look at an ancient Greek amphora, you see these towering, idealized figures, right? Like capes billowing, hurling lightning, battling impossible monsters. And then you walk into a modern multiplex cinema and
it's the exact same imagery. The vibrant colors, the exaggerated physiques, the epic clashes. Visually, it's just incredibly persistent.
exactly. Which brings us to the core of what we're looking at today. Like, what do ancient Greek myths and modern superheroes actually have in common? Are the heroes on our screens a direct, unbroken continuation of classical Greek myths?
Right. Or does their reliance on science and technology fundamentally separate them from those ancient traditions?
Right. And while my stance is that I just can't get past the structural continuity, if you look at the underlying skeleton of these stories, Joseph Campbell's hero's journey, we've quite literally mapped Mount Olympus onto our modern cities.
You mean like Superman as Zeus?
Exactly. Superman functions exactly as Zeus or Apollo. He's the solar-powered moral leader from the sky. And Batman mirrors Hades, and not just because he hangs out in a dark cave.
Right. He's basically the lord of the underworld.
Yeah. Psychologically, Batman acts as an arbiter of the underworld, pulling the dead and the damned of Gotham into his orbit.
That's a really great way to put it.
And, the lineage is even explicitly spelled out. Look at Shazam. His name is literally an acronym for Hercules, Atlas, Zeus, Achilles, and Mercury.
Okay, I hear you on the structural skeleton, definitely. And I wouldn't deny that the aesthetic of the gods has been repurposed. But the origin of a hero's power completely shifts the purpose of the narrative.
How so?
Well, ancient heroes were demigods, right? They were born with magic, acting as instruments of divine will. Modern superheroes, however, reflect our age's science. Take Iron Man, for instance.
Okay, the modern Daedalus?
Precisely. Sure, he mirrors the ancient craftsman Daedalus, but Tony Stark uses technology as a godlike tool.
Right, it's man-made.
Exactly. That makes his story about human technological limits, ingenuity, and scientific ethics. It's not about divine intervention anymore, which is a massive paradigm shift.
See, I always struggle to see that scientific shift as anything more than just like window dressing, because the core function of their limitations remains totally identical. Let's talk about the Greek concept of hamartia.
The tragic flaw.
Right, the idea that the very trait that makes you exceptional is also the exact thing that destroys you. You bring up science, but modern superhero flaws mirror ancient magic perfectly. Take Achilles. He's invulnerable except for one tiny physical spot on his heel. Now look at Superman and Kryptonite. It really doesn't matter if the origin is a magical river or a radioactive green rock from space. The mechanism changes, but the function is purely mythological. It exists just to make an invulnerable being relatable to the audience.
Wait, so are you saying Superman is basically just Achilles with a cape and a sci-fi origin? Because I actually think the mechanism matters deeply.
Structurally, yeah.
But an Achilles heel is just a physical quirk of a magical blessing. Let's look at Bruce Banner, the Hulk. He isn't given a magical vulnerability. His condition represents hubris. That dangerous, overconfident pride.
Ah, so like Prometheus.
Exactly. Like Prometheus being punished for stealing fire from the gods, Banner is punished for tinkering with dangerous science.
So Prometheus stealing fire is today's engineer accidentally creating an uncontrollable AI algorithm. Or, well, in Banner's case, gamma radiation.
Yes, spot on. The Hulk demonstrates how our modern myths are processing collective anxieties about technological overreach and genetic tampering. We aren't processing the whims of Mount Olympus anymore. We are terrified of our own capabilities. So the source of the power changes the entire moral of the story.
Okay, I see why the origin matters for a character like the Hulk. But what about the ones who are explicitly magical? I mean, if you're listening to this and thinking, well, Wonder Woman is obviously a Greek myth, you're right.
Oh, definitely. She is quite literally an Amazon warrior, blessed by Athena with wisdom and Aphrodite with a loving heart. She isn't processing technological anxiety, right? She is processing human morality and justice, exactly as the Greeks did. Doesn't she prove that modern comics are often just repackaging ancient divine structures?
Wonder Woman is fascinating, but she's really the exception that proves the rule. Yes, she retains that magical lineage, but look at the wider landscape. Look at who dominates it.
The science-based heroes.
Exactly. The heavy reliance on scientific mutation, engineering, and cosmic physics alters the ultimate philosophical takeaway. In ancient myths, humanity is subject to the fates and the gods. We are at their mercy.
Right.
But in the modern superhero mythos, humanity becomes godlike through science. It's just a completely different stance on human agency.
That's a really sharp distinction. So on one hand, we can view superheroes as our continuing, unbroken mythic pantheon, utilizing the exact same narrative devices to provide hope and moral structure.
Right. And on the other hand, they are a distinct reflection of our modern scientific age, where we use the imagery of the gods to interrogate our own technological limits.
Yet I think we both agree that whether the power comes from a radioactive spider or, the bloodline of Zeus, these characters serve a vital, incredibly human function.
Oh, completely. They help us process our internal conflicts, understand morality, and just navigate a complex world.
The context changes, but our need for these larger-than-life archetypes to make sense of our reality really remains constant.
For sure.
So the next time you walk into that multiplex cinema and see those towering figures on the screen, ask yourself, are you looking at a reborn god or a modern scientific archetype?
Hi, thanks for watching. If you want more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel. Bye.